Hi, and welcome to Behind the Bell ATL with the Salvation Army of Metro Atlanta. I'm your host, Keely McGill. The goal of this podcast is to provide listeners with a glimpse of what the Salvation Army does. Many people tell us that they know we provide support to those in the community who need it, but they don't know exactly what we do. We hope to change that through our conversations with Army staff, clients, and community partners. Thanks for joining us. Hi, welcome back to Season 2 of Behind the Bell. I'm Keely, and today we have Captain Reyes. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So to start, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about what you do here at the Salvation Army?
Yeah, my wife and I are privileged to be the Corps officers of Marietta. So that's what we get to do.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about the services and how you serve Cobb and Douglas County?
Yeah, so Marietta is really cool because we are a community center. And when you think of community center, it's really all encompassing of what our backyard looks like, what our neighbors look like. So we get to be that for our community. So we are a drop-in center. So our kids come in from after school. We offer those services, and we can talk more about that. But we won't do that. We also have a very vibrant social service aspect to it. So we're 5 caseworkers deep in things. So we get to do like financial assistance, rental assistance, food pantry, homeless assistance, and things like that. So those are the 2 biggest components to Marietta Community Center, on top of a lot of other things that we do that people come in and use our building for them.
I was about to say, I've known you a little bit in my year of being here and know that you do a lot with the community. Can you dive into a little bit about, your partnership with the community around you?
Yeah, so we're super close to our neighbors, super close to our community. Our philosophy is an empty building is not a good building. So every day, there's something happening in our building, from the YMCA coming in and hosting programs to a basketball academy that comes here every night, we have clubs that come and use, like scouting programs that use our building. We have retired teachers that come and use our building for certain things. So there's a lot of components working in the building, and with that, we create community. With that, we create the need of what's happening in our back doors, what's happening in our community, what's happening with the needs for how we can assist them.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about, some of the needs that you are seeing in your area right now that are very important that you're trying to manage?
So some of the biggest needs in our area are, of course, food insecurity. I told you we have a really good social service department, a big pantry, but that food insecurity is huge. We see people walking through our doors that normally we wouldn't see or normally would never ask. Mm-hmm. And that's usually the first step when people come into our doors, is they're trying to figure out how they can kind of make things work for the week financially. They come in and say, I heard you guys are doing food. What does that look like? So we go through the process. And once they know what the food program is, my caseworkers will kind of pick up on their personal needs. If they have a family, if there's other needs for rental assistance, sometimes they just need food and that's it. But we start asking those questions. They start opening up the doors for the other things that are happening in our building.
Yeah, it goes back to building relationships. Right. Like as it might start with a food pantry, but then it might move to they're more willing to ask for more help that they're not.
Yeah, we try not to make it a transaction, but more relational. Everything that goes on in our building is a relational thing for my caseworkers, to my employees. They understand that it's not just providing a service, but it's really giving a relationship and a purpose.
Yeah. So going back to your food pantry, how does that work? How big is your food pantry?
So just to put things in perspective, we push out about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds of food a month.
Holy cow.
That's a lot. I'm always amazed at how much goes by. We have great volunteers that help us out push that food. And we have great partnerships with the community that help us collect those foods, those items. But what's really important is that even within my people that come and volunteer to do this, there's a community in that. Mm-hmm. And when people come in asking for services, we see them. We do Mondays and Thursdays from a certain period of time, and they come in and they just kind of say, hey, I'm a family of 4. They kind of have to make sure that they're in our county, just some very basic instructions. But from then they get served. And I have a whole army of volunteers that just love doing that.
Oh, I love hearing that you have that community within your food pantry. On top of your food pantry, we talked a little bit about this before we started filming, but you were telling me about your community garden and how you're trying to provide fresh food for the community.
Right.
Can you dive into that for us?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we had a crazy idea. Again, we have property, we have buildings, we don't like things not being utilized properly. And we just had this crazy idea of like, hey, why don't we take this area of land that we have that's receiving sun for 8 hours a day and like just plant something, do something. Our after school program was already kind of doing that in their own fashion. Our kids were kind of going out there and doing their thing. So we just decided to like pump it up and put it on steroids. So we had a vision, a plan, we put all that together, and we started off with 12 beds last season. And those 12 beds multiplied to 24 beds before the season was over.
Crazy.
And the whole purpose, again, is providing community, asking our neighbors to come and take over a couple plots or lots. And the whole purpose of that, hopefully generating food for our food pantry, generating food for our people in need, educating our kids from our community center, our after school program, of what it means to plan and grow and pull. And, we just didn't think it was going to be this much of a success. We thought it would be great, but we really saw how big it was, to the point where this season we have 31 beds to start off with.
That's great. Can you talk about like how the beds work? Like, if I wanted to, run a bed, does it mean that I get to take all the produce, or do you guys keep the produce? Like, how does that relationship work?
So again, we're in our second season. We're kind of fleshing all these things out. When people come in, they adopt a bed or pay for a bed, a pretty affordable fee. We're doing $85 a season, and that covers the soil and all that stuff. Mind you, the neighbors across the street from our building don't have backyards. They kind of live in these condos and have short backyards or no backyards at all. So again, we're trying to provide a need for the community.
Yeah.
And we literally, like I said, we started with 10 beds. We knocked on those doors, and they were eager to do it. So we kind of put that bug in there, and they bought those beds, or they kind of started it. And then they started listening to what we were doing inside the building, from our food pantry, feeding our kids, having our kids come out and be part of it. So they decided, hey, why don't we give what we're growing, a portion of this goes back into for your doing. So that's kind of morphed into its whole internal program within the thing. So to the point where this season, our neighbors have decided to rent themselves out 6 to 10 plots just for the families in our community center. Mm-hmm. So they were already doing it. Our kids were already coming out and helping and cleaning and pulling weeds and getting bugs. But now, like, each plot's going to have their family name, which is going to not just include our kids coming out and having fun and learning, but they're also going to, again, incorporate their family unit to come out and be part of the community. So it's been really cool just seeing that transformation. They get it, they see it, our neighbors see it, and they're always amazed at like the depth of how much a pepper plant goes or a tomato plant goes.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Oh, and I don't know if you know about this, but we do feeding. So we feed the kids 3 times a week.
Oh.
Because the kids are there from 2:30 to 6:30.
Okay.
So we try really hard to feed our young people before they leave. So now they're seeing that produce being picked up, washed, chopped, and sometimes those kids get to do that and be incorporated in their meals. So it's really cool.
That is so great, because it's kind of full rounded. It's going back to the beginning and giving them that ownership of, this is my bed.
Exactly.
But also still connecting it to the community is great.
And from a nutritional point of view, it goes even farther than that.
Oh yeah, a kid is probably going to be way more excited to eat a carrot that they grew versus a carrot from the grocery store. But talking about the kids, you talked a little bit about the after school programs that you guys run. Go into more depth about it. Hearing that you guys feed them, that's great.
So we run an after school program from 2:30 to 6:30, and it's absolutely free. We have about 6 schools that participate in dropping off kids.
Okay.
And we've networked that for 2 years, trying to connect with the schools, explaining who we are and what we're doing. So they drop off kids. We work with moms and dads so they can get those buses dropped off. We go pick up at 2 other schools. So we average about 30 plus kids a week, absolutely free. And again, they're from 2:30 to 6:30. And it's not, my wife and I believe in like a good quality program, like not just a drop off, not just a drop in, not just like wait till your mom picks you up. So we do after school programs, which include homework time. And then every day has a different day. So like Mondays, it's community garden. So they love going outside. So that's a big hit. Tuesdays we do STEMs, so like science and computer lab, things like that. Wednesdays we do. Wednesdays we do. What do we do Wednesdays? Oh, we do music. So we teach music on Wednesdays. We call it SOPA, School of Performing Arts. Most of my families are Hispanic, so they understand the content of SOPA.
Yeah.
But we do School of Performing Arts, and every semester we do teach different things. But brass is one, guitar is one, drum is one, dance is one. This year we included bells. So every semester we do different things, so the kids look forward to those things. And then we do clubs. So we do have like a cooking club. So it's where the kids get to see like their vegetables being chopped or used for something. So we have clubs like that, and then we have a video editing club. So they make little commercials or little videos or yearbooks for the week or for the couple of days. So they look forward to those kind of things, and I'm looking forward to expanding those programs for the week.
So can you tell me about like the age ranges of the kids that you guys are serving in the after school program?
So it's anywhere from 6 to 13 years old.
Okay.
That come in, and again, they're coming in because there's a need.
Yeah.
There's a need. Parents are working. Most of our kids are from single families or moms or aunties or grandmas taking care of babies. So parents need to work, and we're providing that service that goes beyond just, again, taking care of a child just to take care of a child.
Yeah.
So we're providing service for mom and dad. We're helping our kids with their homework. This is another huge need. When these kids come in, homework is huge. I don't know if you've ever done 5th grade math.
I did back in 5th grade.
Well, listen, 5th grade math has changed so much. And these kids are also coming from mostly Hispanic speaking or Spanish speaking families. Mm-hmm. So the kids have to go home and translate their homework to mom. And then mom's got to teach how to do the homework. So you're talking about 6:30, 7 o'clock, these kids getting home. And if they don't do their homework at the club or at the center with us, they don't get to do it at all.
I can't imagine having that barrier of not being able, like my own parent who's supposed to help me with my homework, not be able to read.
Right, or can't, so the kid is translating as best as he can, and the parents are trying to teach how to do the homework to the kid.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of kids who deliberately come just because we do the homework with them.
Wow.
So just presence, alone of sitting on the table, helping them with homework. Some of these kids even choose not to go to our fun programs, or like when we have open gym, they're we'd rather do our homework because we know we don't do it here, no one's going to help us at home.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's a good burden taken off of the parent too, because they're working a full day and then they come home from work and they're like, oh no, I have to translate this homework for my kid. Like, that's great that you're doing that for your community. So talking about the parents, have you seen from like their kids interacting into the after school that they're coming in for more services as well? Yeah,
so again, our 30 plus kids that come during the week, from those 30 plus kids, over 20 of those participate on Sunday morning.
Okay.
So their parents drop them off, or we go pick them up. Just in the past year, we've seen just mom and dad coming and hanging out with them at church. A lot of what we do is not just one thing, but we want to connect every single part of who we are. And of course, the ministry and the gospel is the biggest thing that we are.
Yeah.
So seeing our young people come to church on Sunday, seeing our young people come to Wednesday programs, seeing our young people, we just took 24 teams to youth councils. Wow. 24 teams. Now and then you said, how old are these kids that come? It's up to 13. And the fact, what happens when you want to say,
church isn't cool.
Is that cool? Or I'm old enough to stay home. I don't need to go to an after school program. They want to come.
Yeah.
They want to come. It's their safe place. It's their place where they don't have to be mom or dad. They don't have to take care of, they know that we're going to take care of brother and sister, so they can kind of relax and kind of be themselves. So we want to cultivate that as long as we can, because like you said, it's not cool to go to church sometimes. It's not cool to go to a program. So if we keep them as long as we can and safe as long as we can, then why not?
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
And you're providing a place of one community, providing the social services, but at the heart of it, you're also a church.
Right.
And it's that fine balance of we provide these social services, but also we provide that religious aspect that you might need.
Because of this is why we do this. Because, so we've seen a huge transformation with just knowing mom and dad. We make an intention to open the doors when they come and pick up their kids. We're saying hi to mom and dad. This is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing this week. Even behavior issues, even like when we have to have real talk conversations with their children, like we want mom and dad to be included in that and how we processed. And we've had a lot of trust for moms and dads to take their kids to camp You remember, like, these are kids that probably never left the city or never done these kind of opportunities. And we say, hey, we want to take your kid to camp. They're like, no, you're not taking my child anywhere. Mm-hmm. That was 3 years ago. Now it's like, we completely trust you guys. Our kids love it here. I can't, they want to be here. So again, I think that's what really community at its finest. We're really trying to live up to that community center, Marietta Community Center part of being community for everyone.
Yeah, and it's that relationship building, yes. Right? That first year they might be a little hesitant, but as they keep coming, receiving services or receiving just a positive impact yes, on their family,
exactly.
It reinforces that community center.
It goes super far. Yeah. We've seen that.
So circling back to talking about, some of the social services that you provide at the Marietta Corps, can you talk about some of the services you provide the homeless community?
Yeah, so we have a great homeless prevention center. So we offer what we strictly offer is washing and bathing. So we average about 20 to 30 guys every day. Wow. Families too. So Monday through Thursday we do guys, and then on Friday we do families and kids. And we do see families and ladies and families that come in on Friday. So what we've done though is that it's again trying to break that it's not a transaction, like here's a ticket, take a bath. It's relational, right? So I have a great person that's overseeing this, and he's a product of an ARC. He's a product of a Harbor Light Center, and so he gets it. He understands the life. He understands the people, and he's come to me a couple of times. He goes, "Hey, is it okay if I work with these 4 or 5 guys?" So from the 20 guys that come in, there's 4 or 5 that come in a little earlier, help set up the towels, help start the washers and dryers, even help prepare breakfast and lunch. Wow. So it's more intentional, like one-on-one mentorship and discipleship that we look forward to. And these guys have been super successful. In the past 3 years that we've been there, the guys that he's taken under his wing to like just mentor and be part of stuff, even going for a cup of coffee, those simple little things where they have their own place now. They have their own, these guys just need someone to say, hey, point them in the right direction, or hey, let's go sit down at this meeting. So it's been super cool just seeing those kind of transformations and those guys buying into that. So right now we have guys that are like, why can't I do that? We're like, well, we can only do 4 or 5 at a time.
Right, yeah.
So next season, you can be part of that. So it's really fun seeing that transformation. And again, our community, our church looks like the community we serve. So from those 20, 30 guys that come, there's at least 3 that come every Sunday to church and worship with us. So again, it's just seeing that, connecting, they're not just coming for one service or being part of other things and still trying to be assisted and helped out through other things. So it's really cool.
It's crazy to hear, something that just running water and having access to a shower.
Right.
It can impact a family. But hearing that it's not just, individuals who are experiencing homelessness, it's even families who need that resource. But again, it goes back to you provide this service. And once providing the service, it builds on that community relationship, making it that Marietta is a place that they can feel welcome or grow or figure out what other needs that they need taken care of there. Yeah. So talking about, the homelessness and the homeless services, are there any other things if someone in your area is experiencing that they could come to Marietta for to help you kind of get them on their feet?
Really just them coming out and checking out what we're doing and what we offer. Coming to their social service side, asking those questions. My caseworkers are super well trained and super understand the depth of some things. I know someone may just come in with one, I need this, but we know that there's other layers to that. And this is why they sit down and talk to somebody, or we're asking those questions your immediate need may be food, but I know you have a family, you have people. What are the things that are needed that, encompass the holistic part of being good or being better, doing the most good.
Yeah. So, and it's breaking down those walls and making them comfortable.
Yeah.
So talking about some fun things happening, you guys also offer summer day camps, right?
Yeah. So that's something that we're gearing up for. So basically everything we talked about gets times 2. And we start early. We start at 7:30 in the morning and we close at 6:30, and our kids jumped from 30 plus to 65 plus.
Wow.
I have to hire extra staff. And again, we do programs all week. They're out of the building 3 times a week. So we go to the pool, we go to the library, and then we do a big field trip.
Wow.
We do charge during the summer, but it's nothing compared to what other places are charging. And my wife, work really hard. We have a great advisory council, a great community that we work really hard all year to sell scholarships. So right now, I believe I have like 80% of scholarships like promised or said that they're gonna give for us.
Wow.
So if the past 2 years, like our parents have not had to pay for these services, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's great, especially if like a family is needing your resources at the community center, like to take that burden of
Yes.
where is my child going to go during the summer? You know, how can I watch them or X, Y, and Z? You guys are still a point of a place
Yeah.
that they can come even without the financial burden.
Yeah.
So talking about, you mentioned your advisory council. Can you talk about ways that the community can get involved that are not just traditional volunteering? Maybe a little bit about your council?
So our council meets monthly, and of course you can always come as a guest, come and see me, ask for me, but come and see what's going on. I always tell for us, yeah, we can ask for the money, and yeah, I can say this is what I need it for, but like we want you to buy into it. We want you to see what's happening. We want you to get your hands dirty. We want you to like feel it, hear it. You walk into my building and you hear kids all the time. You hear people, something happening, and I think that's like the heart and the breath of a building of the Salvation Army is you hearing things happening, and you just can't help but say, how can I help out? Just this really quick testimony, like we've been wanting to feed our families and it not come out of like operational cost. Mm-hmm. And when we do some tours or people walk in and say, how can we help? I say, you know what, I've been wanting to feed. How do I feed? So they come and cook meals for us. So they come and cook 30 plus meals on a Monday, on a Tuesday, and a Wednesday, so they can feed our young people. It could be that simple, like that. Just the simplicity of how can we give back? How can we volunteer?
People like sometimes confuse, the Salvation Army of like we need help as donations, and it's always financial. But like sometimes coming in and just being part of the community is so impactful.
And that goes so far.
Oh, 100%. It goes further than just a financial donation. Now, not saying financial donations are not great, like they're helping support us, but also that community building of just having another person knowing that they're supporting or just there to help this community.
And they're the ones sharing the message. So they're coming in and volunteering, and then they go and tell their friends what's happening behind those doors, and it makes my job as an officer easier. It makes all our jobs is like trying to figure out how we're going to support the Army for the next year easier, because these needs are being met physically. Like people want to do things tangibly, and I think just offering a safe place for that for them to do that, or have them have ideas of how we can give back is just like, all right, let's get it done. How do we do it? How do we give back?
So we're gearing up. I know you have a couple of events coming up. Can you tell me a little bit of what's happening?
Yeah, so we get to participate in the Summer Hunger food drive program that we're doing. Summer is hard on families. Mm. Like, kids are at home, we're eating more food, and really that's when my resources and donations do go down across the board for things like the resources. So this food drive and this is going to be helpful for us. So hopefully we can participate in that and see how that goes.
Yeah, and so it's happening in the week of National Salvation Army Week, which is this week.
Right.
Which is great. So we're gearing up. A lot of other locations are also accepting donations for Summer Hunger across Metro Atlanta. But the big key thing about it is it's dropping off donations, but it's also a food and fun drive. If you don't necessarily are not in the area and you want to donate, you can come to our Amazon wish list where you can actually purchase things and it gets shipped to us, which is great. But it goes back to that same food pantry that's serving your community on a regular basis.
Yes.
So is there anything else as we're gearing up to the end of the podcast that you would like to let any of our listeners know?
Really, I'll be honest, just grateful for all that people are doing, beyond the officers, beyond, like, you guys are really the heartbeat of the Salvation Army. We can't really do this without you guys. So we really do need you.
So if you guys have a chance, I would definitely recommend coming and visit the Marietta Community Center. It is wonderful. I love walking through and seeing all the artwork filled through the halls from the kids. That's my favorite thing about it. But if you're in the area, definitely recommend going and checking it out. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!